Alrighty, well I've been to the place that I wanted to go to. Got the catalogue, T2L, transistor logic, and here's all the gates I was talking about. NAND gate, NOR gate, OR gate, NAND. And there's also CMOS ones, which are the ones we learnt about. They're sort of built a bit differently, but they're fairly similar in what they do. NOR gate, NAND gate, flip-flop. I know you can't see some of this, just using the potato cam. Voltage regulators, oh thank God. Talk about using voltage regulators. Many people used to tell me different things about voltage regulators, and you can't make them work, and you got to have a 555 timer and flash a lower amount of the voltage, and blah blah blah. Some of these are the little sort of screens that you can run off of this chip that I've got, which is 28-pin chip. None of those. I don't know if you see it, but it's inside one of those anti-static bags. If you know what this bag is, and you've seen heaps of those back in the 90s, well, you're a computer nerd like me, but that's a 28-pin chip. It's another one. Apparently very easy to program and use. I've seen those there. I've got the... they got the actual, I don't have it in here, but they got the big one, which is a 40-pinner. I believe they got the big one. I don't know, but I've got that one there, 28 by 2. Yeah, $14 each. You got two of them. Oh yes, and there's an explanation of here and all the logic gates, OR gate, and NOR, NAND, bloody blah. I've actually got the flash on, which is why you might be able to see that glare. And there's all the symbols they use for them. And they taught us all these sort of symbols and all this sort of stuff. And we'd have pictures. We don't really have them in this, but it'd be like, it'd show the chip and it'd show all the legs. And from memory, they go from, yeah, I think they still do too. You always got a dot, which is like a little dimple thing in the top left-hand corner, and you sort of count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, you know, and what they'd have is they'd have like a picture like that, but then it'd show like, you know, one of these symbols in there, and the lines going back to the pin, so you know what, and it'd be like, you know, positive and negative on the top ones or some bullshit. Yeah. Relays. They've even got to explain to people how relays work. We're always asked this question by our customers, so we decided to put it in print so everyone knows. Fucking hell. Well, you mustn't always have the smartest people coming in the store if they don't know how a relay works. But anyway. Yeah. Couple other things. Now I've got the catalogue, I'll find out all the stuff they've got, including some real intriguing little devices. Pickaxe project board, that's for your basic original one, that's like the 8-pin, but I went and got a fancy ass one, and there's your 28-pinner in the middle, and these are the ones for the giant 40-pinner that are on the outside of it. So your one's there, mount for your 28, and then stepping over the top of it, because you can only have one processor in this board, obviously, or microcontroller, technically. Stepping over the top of it, you have the big one. If I'm not incorrect, that's not actually for the old style one, that's for like an extra memory chip or something, that little 4, that's just like a empty one. That's a socket, which is similar to these ones, but that's like a bit more of a basic one. I've seen plenty of those. And then there's the old, remember the days, the 286s, you get your old jumper switches and all that shit. And, oh yeah, I've got a couple of these, which are like That's like all gears and shit there. These are servo motors. I don't know if it says it. Probably not, but that's a servo motor, and I've got a second one as well. And the what's his name? Download cable. I think this is ridiculous. Like, this is like fucking 1.8 meters, which is like, I think it's like 6 foot long or something. This isn't just a normal run-of-the-mill cable. Well, you can't really see it, but you got a USB there, but there's actually a circuit inside the back of the USB. And on the other end, you got your normal little 3.5mm earphone jack. And basically plugs in the computer and plugs back at this board, and then you program onto your chip once your chip's plugged in. And then if we flip this over, yeah, it's a bit, how they good are these? Oh yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. They've got all those sort of taped over, which I don't usually see, but basically, it is interesting. Which I think, never actually seen it quite like that. I think basically I'm expected to solder directly onto the upper side of the board here. Yeah. I will go around and have a talk to that software millionaire that I know, and yeah, he's gonna most likely help me with a lot of other bits and bobs. But I say, just the way these are set up, you know, like I usually expect that you go right through and solder on the bottom, but that's not obviously the case. I'll look at someone else and their videos, or even the official website, and yeah, we'll find out more. You may be wondering what the hell a pickaxe is. They have been quite common in England, and they brought them over here, and I remember reading articles on it, and that's why I went and searched for them and tried to hunt them down. And apparently they still use them today in schools quite a lot in this country. But in America, they're basically unheard of. Now, you find out some interesting little bits and pieces when you get the catalogue. And you turn to you turn to whatever the hell I was at before, chips or whatever, and you don't find everything. And then lo and behold, they got one called projects. You find all this shit. I seen that on the website, microbit. And of course, everybody's all Arduino this, Arduino that, blah blah. You know, Raspberry Pi. Everyone's tripping over themselves for that thing. You know, and then there's ones you don't hear of that, well, we're still on the website, and then there's other ones that just ain't on the website at all, including this thing, Maximite. This basically uses the program language that I learnt, and a lot of people know, the BASIC as it's called, Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code, which is, it's friggin' easy to be honest, and but and it's pretty much, well, the same as what these chips use, the pickaxe, but you just got extra commands for dealing with servo motors and dealing with the inputs and outputs and stuff like that. But it's much of a muchness with QBasic or QuickBasic. But this one here, $95. 20 digital or analog inputs and outputs, runs on the basic programming language, but you can actually, I'm not joking, have a screen output and put in, where does it say, a keyboard. A keyboard and video output is provided. So you can plug a friggin' keyboard into this thing and program this like it was a VIC-64 or a VIC-20, which I've actually got a VIC-20 hiding away. And not a problem, you know. And this one comes in its own nice little box and everything. I think you got to buy it as a kit and you know, put it together. And then you can go and get another one for $50 that is a miniaturized version that still has all the same programming language and the same external input-output capabilities, while being the size of a large postage stamp. Could you believe it? The size of a large postage stamp, and it's basically like a VIC-64 with 20 inputs and outputs. This is, well, would be just as good as this. But I got that now, and I'm not saying that I won't get this at some point in the future, especially if I see there's extra, you know, advantages. This has got an SD card that you can actually put in the thing, whereas this one, all the memory's built on board. And it's quite like, it's a hell of a step above what it is. I don't know how much, I think, you know, like, who knows, a certain amount of kilobytes I've got on that. Nothing that I'm going to use up in a hurry, let's put it like that. I don't know if it's 16 or 64 or something, and I'll be lucky if I get out bloody 2 kilobytes of code maximum, to be honest. And how's this little thing? Little Panda with Windows 10. SBC, single board computer. It runs Windows 10, Linux, and Android. I mean, hit a Intel Atom Cherry Trail processor, full functionality of a regular PC. And that there is a USB plug or a HDMI plug, and I think that's a HDMI plug and that's a USB plug. So look at the size of the freaking thing. You know, it's that small you could just about fit it in your hand, sort of thing. Unbelievable. But, yeah, it's amazing what you find when you start digging, and once you go and get one thing, the other damn joint used to make us pay, what was it, $5 or $10 for the catalogue, and then they tried to only put it on CD. These catalogues are free. I went in there and said, oh, this and that and da-da-da, and I'll get one of these too, and he goes to me, well, that's free. For flaming hell. So, yeah. All the bits and bobs you could bloomin' dream of in here. Yeah, a lot of this is Raspberry Pi. Oh, here we go. That's a servo I got. Ooh, gee, $20 each. Yeah, they did cost me a little bit. Yeah, 5-volt input. He said they actually do quite alright with a what's his name? 7-volt input. He reckons you might have trouble running it with a 5. But little geared motors, 3 to 12 volt. Stepper motor, I've got stacks of those bloody things. I've got about 12 of those out of blooming old floppy disk drives. That was the other one he gave me the option of, but it just looks as weak as piss. It's so small. That's more like the servo motors I've got. These are a dime a dozen, $3.50 little motors. They're only small, but the other place I get my solar panels from, you can actually get like gear kits that are almost like the little plastic one they had with that. But yeah, it's like plastic. I think a lot of them are yellow actually. Gears that fit on to the end of that, and you get a whole damn gearbox. You can get full gearboxes, and you can actually change the gears in it, I think, to change your, might be a bit of a flick and a muck around, but you can actually get it to change gears with some of these things. And with an FET or a MOSFET transistor, you can run these directly from that chip that I bought today. So anyway, this just gives you a bit of an idea. You know, some of these things are, oh, why don't you go Arduino? Well, you know, it's 15 times more high-tech than I need and 15 times more complicated. And, you know, quite honestly, like, oh, this is all breakout modules. Most of these are breakout modules for Arduino. You know, Wi-Fi, ultraviolet light sensor, movement sensor, gyroscope, digital compass, accelerometer, freaking hell. Yeah. So anyway, GPS, motor shield, drive motor module, bridge motor, relay motor, 433 data transmission, infrared, frickin' hell. The amount of shit you can get for Arduino is unbelievable. But really speaking, I don't need all that, you know. And the way this thing works, you can literally go and, you know, use a resistor and power a friggin' infrared transmitter and then put a bit of cloth in the way and have the infrared receiver on the other side that goes straight into one of these bloomin', you know, chip leads, which you just solder to one of these. And it's all there, you know, you didn't need to get a breakout board that cost you another, you know, bloomin' $15 to $20 or whatever. You know, you just hardwire it straight in, and that's the beauty of Pickaxe, is that you can hardwire so much stuff just directly in, and what you can't use a MOSFET transistor or a friggin' you know, relay, and bingo, it all works. So anyway, that's that, and might be a while till I start playing with these things, but at least we got it.